So with just 3 weeks to go until the U.S. presidential election, the latest poll shows how much the coronavirus pandemic has hurt Donald Trump. Democratic nominee Joe Biden holds a 17-point lead over Trump on the question of who voters would trust more to handle the pandemic. 62% surveyed said that they distrust what Trump says about the virus. Biden holds a 12-point lead over Trump nationally among both registered and likely voters, and it is women who are giving him the advantage. Biden leads at 59 to 36% among female voters, the widest margin among women for any presidential candidate in polling dating back to 1976. Well, joining us now is Eric Heberlig, a professor of political science and public administration at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. Sir, thank you so much for joining us here on Al Jazeera. So it's obviously been quite an eventful week, really, when it comes to the president and the coronavirus. What do you make of this latest poll, and how much do you think that Donald Trump actually contracting COVID has affected these numbers?
It was a big week, and we've seen a shift slightly in the poll towards Biden. What we don't know yet is whether that's a short-term shift in reaction merely to the events of the week, or whether that's a shift saying that some of the undecided voters have now made up their mind and they're shifting in the direction of Joe Biden. Hopefully the polls this week and next week will help us sort that out.
It has to be said that 4 years ago, roughly at the same time, Hillary Clinton was ahead by 12 points. So how trustworthy are these polls in the first place?
Yeah, that's why I was holding out, committing to say that the undecided voters have now decided, because we had the Access Hollywood tape in 2016 where President Trump was quoted as saying he liked to grab women by the genitals. There was a big shift in the polls, but of course it didn't last. So we'll see whether the shift we've seen over the last week is more reaction, a short-term reaction to that news, or whether it's something permanent. I will say that American pollsters have learned what went wrong in 2016 and have made adjustments to the polls, how they report them, in order to try to avoid the mistakes that were made last time around. So I would trust the results this time to a large extent.
One thing that I found really interesting about this poll is that it showed that nearly twice as many registered voters said the economy was the single most important issue in their vote, 29%, as picked the pandemic at 15%, because up until now, we've kind of been saying that the coronavirus was one of the biggest issues, and of course it goes hand in hand with the economy. What do you make of those numbers, and could that perhaps signal that as people's, the wallets start to hurt because of the lockdowns and the impact of the coronavirus on the economy, that may actually be a plus for Donald Trump, because he is trying to push for more and more opening up?
Part of it, I think, is that Americans always are likely to rate the economy as the most important issue. But I think the key for understanding what's going on is that the economy is ranked overwhelmingly as the most important issue by Republicans. Democrats and independents are more likely to rate the virus as more important. So it's more important what the swing voters are rating as the important issue rather than the people who are already going to vote for Donald Trump.
From the very start, of course, Donald Trump has been a very divisive figure, and there's many people that will vote for Biden simply because he's not Trump. When you look at Joe Biden's campaign, how much do you think it is about issues, or how much is it about don't trust Donald Trump, I am the safer option?
Biden has very much made the campaign about that character contrast. The Democratic National Convention, for example, was all about Biden being compassionate, being trustworthy, his background, his experience, and they downplay the policy issues. Now, that works for Biden in two ways. One, it presents a clear contrast with Trump in ways that people like Biden but don't like Trump. And secondly, if you talk about issues, you have the divisions within the Democratic Party between Biden's establishment, moderate wing, and Bernie Sanders' more progressive wing. If you focus on Biden's personality, you don't get those policy divisions within the Democratic Party.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there for now, but it will be interesting to see how it develops over the next few weeks. Of course, just 3 weeks to go before polling day.